Legend of War here, and today we've got a rating your Doomstack video covering Tsarina Katerin with 16 Frost Maidens of Ice and Tempest mixed in there, and we've got 3 Patriarchs. We've got a settlement garrison in here, but we're not going to use it in this battle. And we're going up against Valkyria the Bloody, where she's got 2 full stacks and a damaged, essentially a half stack there, it's just really damaged. Alright, let's just jump in here and see how it goes. We're going to control large armies because I do want them to send all of the force that they can at us, but what I'm going to do is try to make sure that my reinforcements take as long as possible to get to us. Now, pretty much all hero-based Doom stacks in this game, bar a couple, can be very good. Now, the big question here is how practical it is. Another thing as well is to point out, this Doom stack was sent in by Srini. Srini has sent in quite a few Doom stacks over the past few months, so if you want to check out his channel, I'll leave a link in the description. But some previous Doom stacks that he sent in have been the Elemental Bear Doom stack, and also ages ago back in Realms of Chaos he sent in the Snow Leopard Doom stack, which is really good against ogres if you're struggling on that front, which I don't think it'd be a problem if you're playing Immortal Empires, because you just don't really encounter ogres that much in Immortal Empires, but you definitely do in Realms of Chaos. Okay, so here are my initial thoughts on this sort of army here. Lots of Frost Maidens. Now the thing is, Frost Maidens increase their capacity at tier 5, so you would need a hell of a lot of tier 5 settlements to get this. Another thing is that they're on a bear, right? But so are Patriarchs. Patriarchs are better melee combatants than Frost Maidens. These guys here, they're only increasing our Winds of Magic reserves maximum by 5. So if we're just going to rely on Katerin's magic, they're basically just Winds of Magic batteries, which is fine. But I think we'll just generate all this magic really quickly. I'm just wondering if there's actually too many Frost Maidens. The other thing that they provide is Guardian's Call. So being able to summon a Snow Leopard, which is good, but I don't know if that's really worth depriving all your other armies of Frost Maidens. But anyway, let's just jump in here and see how it goes. Okay, as for our reinforcements, I want them to take as long as possible to get here, so I'm going to put them over there.
We cannot falter, for all the world depends on Kislev.
Okay, enemy reinforcements are coming in pretty quick. So yeah, we really don't want to get shot by the Marauder Horsemen of Khorne. I'm kind of surprised that they allowed us to come in so close there. So this is on very hard battle difficulty, yeah. Looks like we just got heaps of modifiers that just smashed their leadership there. Oh, it's just faster, stronger enemies nearby. And the Marauder Horsemen of Khorne don't exactly have super high morale. Here to annoy us. But yeah, you gotta watch out for their throwing axes, they can do a lot of damage. Now, we got a rank 50 Valkyria the Bloody coming at us. We've got 25% spell resistance. A lot of physical resistance. So we're doing magical attacks. Some of them are. Now, in this email, Srini really wants me to use Heart of Winter, because I dump on Heart of Winter a fair bit and say that it's kind of a shit spell. But here's the thing, in this sort of situation, I can totally recognize Heart of Winter being able to do a lot of damage, because the AI will totally throw everything they've got at just this. So they'll get into a nice big blob, which I know Heart of Winter will do a good job against. Okay, hang on, here comes Valkyria. We're not going to be able to outrun her. We should just try to take her out as early as possible. Okay, I'm going to use a Death Frost. I can cast it on it. Oh wow, she is just not wanting to go down. Also got a fair few items here that we should use. Okay, she's taking damage now. If we can get rid of her early, that'd be good, because otherwise she's just going to, like, snipe individuals, rather than keep the damage spread out. Using this on her isn't going to work for physical resistance because of the magical attacks.
Frost Maiden. I am the storm. Yes.
Just looking for like Helm of Discords and stuff. Okay, Valkyria went down real quick, which will piss her off a lot because she hates Slanesh. Alright, Valkyria's down. Blob's incoming. Then the next thing we got to worry about is the Giant, but at least the Giant does physical damage. So as long as we've got a Snow Leopard summon, it's providing us with Guardian, which will provide physical resistance in an area. Alright, so Heart of Winter coming down. And let's see how much damage that's going to do. Thing to point out as well is that we're fighting Khorne here, so they've got spell resistance. And yeah, it is doing an absolute ton of damage. This one here is getting really dumped on. Actually, let's get a whole bunch of them to summon. Because these are anti-large. You know, I don't have time to wait for Katarine to cast again. Let's just do it with any old spellcaster. Because that Giant is wrecking us too much. Alright, need some heals. But the Giant is going down. So what you want to do with damage runs is try to move them into the center of the blobs so they're not getting attacked. So Katarine managed to get 90,000, and which one casted the other spell? It wasn't this one, surely. No, it was this one here. Wow, lots of kills. Okay, Giant's down. Cool, then we just got these Khorne boards here. These reinforcements are going to come in soon. That would not be a great location for them to come in. If they do come in, I'll just withdraw them from the battlefield because we don't want to use them.
The Ice Queen.
Well, our army's at full strength.
For the motherland. Spreading Horfrost. Execute them.
Okay, we're going to need some more Snow Leopards if we want to keep that physical resistance going.
Sarina Katarine. Daughter of ice. Pain is duty.
Well, they're all really good in melee, and I imagine he's got a lot of items on them as well. I'll have a look when we get to the campaign map. Alright, they're about to come in. Just have them come in from here, and I'll just withdraw them straight away from the battlefield. Alright, do you want to do another Heart of Winter? Well, let's do it.
Absolute power.
And there's the army loss. And we're pretty much at full strength. Alright, looks like we just got some spawn of Khorne to deal with.
Frost Maiden. For the ice.
So, I feel like I'm going to need to quantify why I've said that Heart of Winter is like a trashy spell. It really comes down to comparing it to other spells in the game. And also in terms of what's most likely going to be the situation that you're using it in. most people are not going to have a hero stack with Kislev in the early stages of their campaign. Now, if you've got a hero-based Doom stack and you can get them to blob around like that, then yeah, Heart of Winter is really good. But that's an unusual situation, and you've basically won the campaign by the time you even get to that point anyway. So saying it's great once you've already won is not really worth much. In the earlier stages of the campaign, you're more likely to have armies like Kossars and Ice Guard, and maybe balanced armies with armored Kossars. Entirely up to you. And if you're doing that, then Heart of Winter is usually pretty trashy, because you might cast on 1 or 2 units, and it might delete those 1 or 2 units. But it is a very expensive spell compared to other spells in the game. It also does take a long time to cast. So if you're not pinning the unit down, the AI will usually dodge it. And since those situations are far more likely to be the ones that you're going to be in, the spell is oftentimes quite trashy. And also another thing to consider is that spells like Dwellers Below in the Lore of Life casts a lot quicker, slows enemy units down, which I think this one does as well, and is also way cheaper. And it's also part of a Lore of Magic that's got other great spells. Because that's a spell that is like mostly compared to. Yeah, Dwellers Below. Okay, now, first thing we're going to talk about here is how practical this is. Which, it's basically getting absolutely no points for practicality, because this is the mere definition of impractical. Because getting this many Frost Maidens is going to be an absolute chore in any of your campaigns. If we have a look here, yeah, he's only got a maximum capacity of 23 Frost Maidens. This is turned nearly 200, and he's recruited 17 of them. Now, there are 16 Frost Maidens here, so all but one of them are in this army.
I switch.
Now, getting a Patriarch Doomstack is not that big of a deal, because you can increase your capacity for Patriarchs at Tier 2. Right, Tier 2 settlements, meaning that a province like this could potentially increase it by 3 capacity. And if we have a look at Patriarchs, we don't need to put them through Ice Court training, so you can pump them out quite easily. Patriarchs ride bears, they can heal. They've got, if we have a look here, you don't have to put them all on healing. You can have some of them do the melee attack buff, or the fatigue buff. So they're better fighters than Frost Maidens, so why would you put Frost Maidens in the army? I guess the positives is you get a bit of extra magic reserves, which we're not making use of that much here anyway. And you get Guardian's Call, which that is a good ability for sure. But is 15% physical resistance that important, like temporary physical resistance? Or is it more important for us to actually have better fighters? If we have a look at the actual stats, comparing a Patriarch to a Frost Maiden, in terms of melee attack and melee defense, there's actually not that much difference. But if we have a look at it as well, this guy's got basically no equipment, and this one here has got much better equipment, so that's probably factoring in a fair bit. But yeah, if we took all the equipment off them, we'll have a look at the difference. So that way we can actually have a look at what their stat line actually looks like. Because these ones here don't have a melee line. So we look at that now, and there is a 2 melee attack difference, but also a 12 melee defense difference. There's also way less weapon strength, way less charge bonus, way less armor, less health. Yeah, so Patriarchs are not by like a huge amount by any means, not by a huge amount, but they are better fighters than Frost Maidens. So if we're putting them in the army, the main benefit there is of course Guardian's Call. There's no other real advantage to having it. Now another thing is that they've got these really good traits here, And a lot of the time it'd be good to spread them out across other armies, because you could end up with a trait like Ice Charioteer, which could reduce the upkeep cost for War Sled. So getting 3 or 4 of these into an Ice Sled army, War Sled army, can be really good to making them essentially free of upkeep. And War Sleds, while they're being terrible in sieges, they're really good in field battles, especially against Khorne factions. So, yeah, depriving all of your other armies of Ice Maidens, Frost Maidens, is not really that good. So if you have a look at his other armies, I'm sure he's good, doing well in the campaign, by no means. But yeah, if we have a look at the other armies, there's the other one, but all the other armies are without them. Now, of course, you could have them commanded by an Ice Witch, for sure, but you know, you're just missing out on the other ones. Other traits they could use to boost. Man, he really loves snow leopards. So yeah, in terms of practicality, it basically gets like an absolute 0. It's just not practical at all. You're just not going to get this at a point in the campaign when you're going to need it. By the time you get it, you should have basically already won the campaign, because you just need so many tier 5 settlements, right? Because in order to increase the capacity of Frost Maidens, you have to get to tier 5 cities. I know that you get a couple of increased capacities through the actual major Kislev cities, but outside of that, you know, you're not going to get that to like 20 by doing it there. You have to go and capture other major settlements. Another thing about Kislev is that they only have 3 major settlements, and then you got to go out into other areas outside of Kislev to go and find major capitals, either into Norska or into the Empire or wherever. So yeah, not practical at all. In terms of strength, it's super strong. But you'd expect that with any kind of hero Doomstack. And I actually think it would be stronger if Katerin had had maybe just a couple of Frost Maidens, and the rest be Patriarchs, because we don't really need that much Winds of Magic Reserve. We saw how well it took out 2.5 full stacks there. It really wasn't an issue. If you're getting a massive blob going, and you want to use Heart of Winter, then just use Patriarchs and just focus on the other buff spells. Because yeah, Patriarchs are just a lot easier to get. And then spread these ones out elsewhere where you might actually need them. In terms of ease of use, it's pretty damn easy to use it as well. So, in terms of rating this, it's basically no score whatsoever for practicality. It's about as impractical as it possibly could be. In terms of strength, not the strongest Doomstack I've ever seen, but it is incredibly strong. And it is very easy to use. You just keep all the bears together, cast spells. If any of them get particularly damaged, try to get them into the center, which is what we did against that. Because it's very vulnerable to units like Valkyr that just swoop in and dish out tons of damage on one unit and can end up killing them or, you know, wounding them. Same thing with units like Giants. They're not great at dealing with Giants. So if you were to go up against something like a Giant spam, that might struggle against that. But at the same time, you're so unlikely to ever encounter something like that in Warhammer 3. Even against endgame Crisis armies, they typically don't tend to have that many single entity unit spams. But you never know. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out Srini's channel. Link will be in the description. Thanks, Srini, for sending this one in. If nothing else, it was really interesting to see how this performed, and also seeing Heart of Winter actually do a good job. But yeah, I really do think that with Katerin, you're far better off going with an Ice Guard army, because Ice Guards are really good units, and you can make them super cheap. I know you're like super rich at this point, but you could raise more armies. So it just depends on how you want to look at it. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.